good day. Chad Range alongside Jesse Finney. We are the Hit Squad here on 101sports.com. Segment 1 brought to you by Shamrock Fighting Championships. It is the home of St. Louis pro and amateur mixed martial arts. We have a lot to talk about heading into today's show. And we're going to break down the UFC free on Fox Sports 1, I believe is what it was called. That'll be coming up in our next segment, as well as just kind of running down what you, the fans, are interested in. We have some great fan input in this show. But first, I want to talk about this first segment here brought to you by Shamrock Fighting Championships. I call this the mental block because there's a lot of, I think, sports psychologists would really have a heyday with a lot of the things we're going to talk about. And, of course, we want to hear from you. HitSquad at 101sports.com is the email. Twitter is at HitSquad101ESPN. And pretty much we're going to take a look at what happened in that Fox Free Sports 1. It was at in Boston. Chael Sonnen, he defeats Shogun Rua in the main event. He looked good. I felt like he looked good.
Absolutely. I mean, he came out, and this was a make it or break it for Chael Sonnen. He came out on top. I think that Chael Sonnen's great for the sport.
Oh, yeah.
And I also think that it's actually great for the when I say the sport, the fans and everybody else involved. I mean, if he goes out and he loses like this, we're going to lose a guy that knows how to sell a fight. Sell a fight brings more fans.
And we're going to get to that, and that's kind of the mental part of this I want to talk about because he knows how to sell a fight. And right after the fight, he kind of calls out Wanderlei Silva, and then on top of that, Vitor calls out Chael, and so it's everybody's call. It's like a lot of head games being played, which for Chael Sonnen, hey, it sounds like he's going to sell a lot of fights coming up.
And he gets a part of the pay-per-view.
Yeah,
so that's
a
smart man right there. When Chael Sonnen's selling the fight, he's getting a part of the pay-per-view. He's working in business. He's a smart guy. He knows what to do. And I tell you what, I'm not real interested in Wanderlei Silva fight as much as I am to see him go out and fight Vitor Belfort.
Why is that?
Well, a lot of reasons. Both because they both, this is the make it or break it. Vitor's trying to climb his way back up there. And Chael Sonnen can beat anybody on any given day. He's a great wrestler. He knows how to fight. He knows how to stick to his game plan, except for in the 5th round against Anderson Silva.
That one got away from him.
That's a fight. The Wanderlei Silva fight does not interest me. With the Vitor Belfort fight, that interests me. Vitor is one of the guys you kind of just never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
That's kind of Chael Sonnen sometimes. You kind of never know what you're going to get.
Two conflicting styles.
That could be a very interesting fight. And I tell you what, if you send him over to Brazil, put it in the big stadium because he's going to sell that to 50,000 Brazilians. I wouldn't want to go with the man, but I tell you something, that would be an exciting time.
Why do you think he wants Wanderlei so bad? Do you think it's just stylistically?
I think stylistically, and I think that he thinks that he's going to get a pretty good payday against Wanderlei Silva.
A bigger name.
And to go over to Brazil and fight him over there. And it'll be interesting because I think that he actually walks through Wanderlei Silva at this point. Because I think he's seen his better days. But I tell you what, I mean, you can never bet against Chael Sonnen, and you can never bet against Vitor Belfort. Vitor Belfort is one of those guys you flip a coin, you know what you're going to get with the guy. I would like to see him and Wanderlei Silva go, or him and Chael Sonnen go at it.
Vito and Chael, that's the one. Does this, when they try to go after you psychologically wise, does that get into, like, if you're Wanderlei Silva, are you fuming? Are you mad? Are you thinking it's just a head game?
I think it's just a head game. I mean, Wanderlei is always a very emotional guy, but Chael Sonnen, man, he's got a career in fighting. He's got a career in the gym business. He's got a career in TV, and that's where I think he's going to make his most money is TV.
I agree.
He's over the mind games of everything else. Chael Sonnen's doing the get in your head, but he's going to be just fine with it psychologically with anybody.
And now I want to talk about Overeem because this is another one, like I'm saying, the mental block. And I think you want to talk a guy who's probably kicking it around. I did catch that fight. That was the first one. I was late to the fights, getting them and seeing them. I saw that one, and I thought, wow, Overeem, whoa, he's going to... And then all of a sudden, he was unable to finish. And now, he has been popped for the steroids. I wonder if in his head he thinks, I just needed a little something extra to get rid of Travis Brown.
He's got to be second-guessing himself. I mean, like, at the end of the day, the guy's, he's been on steroids in the past. Who knows how long he's actually really been on those steroids? And, he was just there to finish him, and he just couldn't do it. So is he really second-guessing himself? I'll tell you what, if he's actually listening to the media and listening to people, he's got to be listening to what they're saying as well. I haven't actually read it and said that the people are saying that, but I can guarantee you he's got to be going, man, if I had a little extra needle in there, it might have been able to do it.
And, a question that I've been getting asked, and I don't think, when it's posed like this, will the UFC release him? Eventually, yes, they will. But I don't think that will happen. I think he's got at least one more fight.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you. He's probably got one more fight left, and with it, if he doesn't cut the mustard, then you know what? They probably will send him on his way. But a fight that I'd be interested in seeing Alistair Overeem is, and I've said this before, is Alistair Overeem and Mark Hunt. Both of them, the guys want to stand up. They both come from a kickboxing background. I'd like to see it. And what that also does is Alistair Overeem can sell fights. And also, Alistair Overeem and Mark Hunt, he should beat Mark Hunt, I would assume. Okay, and if he goes out and he wins, that means he's got a couple more fights left after that.
He is where kind of Uriah Faber was. However, Uriah Faber has been able to right the ship. It looks like the free fall for Overeem continues to happen. UFC planning on Rory McDonald taking on Robbie Lawler.
I love it. We called it last week, and I got to tell you something. This is a fight that Robbie Lawler can beat anybody in this world. After McDonald's showing last week, or excuse me, a couple weeks ago, that's what they need to do, is they need to punish him for the way he came out and he fought. Now, he did get the win, but at the same time, give him an opponent that can actually go out and is going to pressure him, stay on him, and I tell you something, man, that can be a fight for the ages. Now, neither one of them are great jiu-jitsu players that want to play at the jiu-jitsu game. I tell you what, that's a fight I'm excited to see already, because Robbie Lawler's hungry, and Robbie Lawler's one that, if not the best athlete, including George St. Pierre, could be the best athlete out there. And I tell you something, that is a great fight to watch. Get that. Hopefully they'll give it to us free on Fox.
Yeah, stylistically, it's just going to be great. It's going to be guys throwing haymakers and
that guy's got to get a shot for the 170 title. Whoever's after that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I can't imagine a better 170 fight. There has been no date or location set, so keep it tuned here. We'll keep you up to date. And Dana White. When our producer, Kevin Fowler, sent us this, I hadn't been able to really research this, but when I saw this is, I mean, and again, we're in the mental block. Dana White says Uriah Hall is not a fighter. Now, if you remember Uriah Hall from the Ultimate Fighting Championship with the reality television show, Tough, they call it, even in that when he was talking to Chael, I felt like he was frail mentally. He wasn't sure if he knew he was going to be there. He had a couple flashy knockouts, and everybody was on his, the hype began to roll in around Uriah. And I think kind of the whole time he's a little, it is what it reminds me of. And it reminds me a lot of Vince Young and Cam Newton, these tremendous athletes. And I mean, I don't even want to put him in there with Ryan Leaf, because that's the biggest bust of all time. You know what I mean? But I mean, you're talking about a guy who is athletically talented, who by all means should be there. But for some reason, he's running into some obstacles. I can kind of see it wearing on him mentally.
No, I agree with you, and I think there's a lot of hype there was even more pressure put on to him after all the hype that came out. Chael Sonnen said, you can compete right now for the world title. I didn't necessarily agree with that.
Right.
Here's the thing about Uriah Hall. He's got all the talent in the world physically. And then, you know what, like you said, mentally. I mean, does he really have it mentally?
Right.
Hey, man, you can say that he won this last fight. This was a split decision as well. He's coming back off a guy that just got cut, though, from the UFC, and Howard, and just worked his way back into the UFC. Now, does that say that Howard's even hungrier to get back in there and to fight Uriah Hall? Or is it saying, hey, this is a guy that's actually being cut, he's really not that good, and working his way back? You never know, right?
I got you.
In which way you want to slice it.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, Uriah Hall, I hope they do give him another shot. And I think they're hopefully they're going to say to him, listen, this is your last shot. We're going to actually, if you lose this fight, you're getting cut and dry. Most guys, if you lose two and you're done, but Uriah Hall's built a big name. I don't think they're going to cut him right away. I could be wrong on this, okay? But at the same time, do I think Uriah Hall is a fighter? Yes, I do think he's a fighter. I think that he's actually got a huge upside to him. But at the same time, man, this guy's got to get his head on straight, and he's got to get the kill mentality. Right. He's got to go after it. Here's when Uriah Hall has the problem. It was someone's in his face. Right. When someone's in his face and he's right at the guy, that's when he has problems. If you're going to stay on the outside and get picked apart by Uriah Hall, you'll lose that fight all day long.
Do you think, and I don't know, I mean, would they give him a stylistically matchup that better suits him?
Yes,
to try to get
they want him
to have some confidence.
Well. Absolutely.
Exactly,
yes.
and that's what I think he is lacking. Well, we're going to be breaking down all the fights coming up from the past UFC. It was free on Fox Sport 1, came from Boston. We're going to be breaking those down coming up next on 101sports.com.